You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Syracuse football this season still has plenty to play for. Now, I know last night sucked. It sucked for everyone. Nobody enjoyed it, right? Fran Brown apologized to Syracuse University and everyone involved with that. I appreciate the apology and all that. I get it. It sucked. And it especially sucks because they're 2-2 in the conference, which effectively knocks them out of making the ACC title game. They can't do it at 6-2. It's not going to happen the way it's working out right now in the conference. Even if they run the table and go 10-2, I don't think this team makes the college football playoff on that resume. So what is there to play for going forward, right? There's still a lot. Let me just tell you, okay? Before the season, we knew that contending for the ACC was not a pipe dream, but we knew it was a long shot. And we knew that making the college football playoff would also be a long shot. But here's the deal. This team can still have a strong second half of the year, and it's on the rest of this team to not give up in the second half of the season. Kyle McCord in his post-game press conference said that he's well aware of what Syracuse football the last few years has been like in the second half of the season, where they always start strong. 4-0 last season, 6-0 the year before that. What were they? 5-4 one year. The year before that, the last time they didn't make a bowl game, they were 5-4, then lost 3 straight. They tend to collapse in the second half of the season for whatever reason. One way or another, they just tend to collapse. But there's still plenty to play for here, all right? Still plenty to play for. Number one, they're playing for the future. These guys are playing for the future, players and coaches, whether they are back next season, whether they decide to transfer, whether they're going to the NFL. They're all here to play, to put stuff on tape, to put quality play, quality coaching on tape. There is no reason to give up on this season because a lot of them are playing for their futures or coaching for their futures. That's just how it works. Let's say you're a potential NFL guy in Kyle McCord, right? He just had a terrible performance. It would not be wise for him to give up, and I don't think he's going to give up. I'm not accusing him of quitting on this season or anything like that. What I'm trying to tell you guys is I'm demonstrating a point that you still got to play. You can't give up. You got to show fight. I know the ACC title can't happen anymore. I know you're probably not making the college football playoff anymore. You still got to play. You still got to put good film on tape. You still got to put good coaching on tape. All right? You're playing and coaching for the future. Second of which, you're playing for recruiting too. You're coaching for recruiting too. Would you consider 8-4 a successful season? Forget what Fran Brown has maintained in his press conferences. He always tends to say the right things in his press conferences, right? 8-4 is not a success to him. I understand that. It probably isn't. I understand, right? Because he'll always say going undefeated and winning a national championship, that is his definition of success. Now, to me, that's the ultimate definition of success. That's the ultimate definition. But again, I'm not playing and I'm not coaching on the team. So my mindset's a little bit different than winning a national championship or going undefeated. I consider 8-4 to be a quality regular season, or 9-3, or even 10-2. If Syracuse decides it wants to run the table, sure, I'll take it too. Right? How do you think that impacts recruiting? How do you think it impacts recruiting? A quality regular season. You go 8-4, 9-3. You show that even when you get knocked down, you still find a way to bounce back. You make a quality bowl game. You send guys to the NFL. That helps recruiting. Go ask Florida State, which is the flip side to having a terrible season and what it can do to recruiting. Seems like every single day, another Florida State recruit is decommitting. Javion Hilson, that 5-star who I think visited Syracuse or is going to visit Syracuse. right? That defensive end, one of the best ones in the country. He was a Florida State commit. He decommitted. It matters. You're playing and coaching for recruiting as well. Maybe that doesn't matter for the players that are... Actually, it should matter for the players too, because you're going to be an alum at this school one way or another. Coaches, it obviously definitely matters because you're going to want good players to play for you going forward. You need to show that even when you get knocked down, you can bounce back and still have a quality season. They're never going to admit that 8-4 is good or 9-3 is good. They're never going to actually admit that. But I think deep down, us as fans, us as hosts or podcasts, whatever it is, we'll take that, especially for a first-year head coach and a brand new coaching staff. We'll certainly take that, and it'll help recruiting. It'll help recruiting. So what is Syracuse playing for? Well, they're playing for the future, and they're playing for recruiting. That's a lot. And to have a productive regular season, make a quality bowl game. Sucks that they're not going to be in ACC title contention. It sucks that even if they run the table, I'm not sure that would even be enough to make the college football playoff. But you know what? You still got to play. You still got to show effort. You still got to fight. That's the reality of it. And I have faith that this team can still pull together, learn from this experience. It's a brutal loss. Put it all together next Saturday against Virginia Tech.